Hey kids, I've always been vocal about my disappointment with modern entertainment. Movies and television are both important to me and has been a passion and hobby of mine for as long as I can remember. I love stories, and the best medium by far for storytelling has been and always will be film. And yet, Western civilization has been saturated with endless batches of lazy, ill-willed propaganda that unashamedly hates its audience. It's been nearly 7 years of this. And just when you thought Hollywood couldn't get any more woke, any more oblivious, the stunning and brave state of California has subverted expectations by taking steps towards ushering in the social utopia, updating things for modern audiences. What I want to look at is a decision that was made, which I feel is only adding fuel on the main issue I have with Hollywood films today. Why I think it's a moot point and ultimately prevents what it claims to change. There's a story in Variety. California's film tax credit aims to punish projects that don't hit diversity goals. Now, I already know what you're thinking. What is a film tax credit? So basically, a film tax credit is like it's an incentive offered by some governments to like counterbalance the cost of film productions. Typically, they're given in exchange for like the employment of like domestic workers and taking advantage of local resources, local businesses, things around you, and what that usually ends up doing is it encourages like economic development. How this works is it's all part of a 5-year extension of a $330 million tax credit signed into law by Governor Gavin Newsom, and it goes into effect starting July 2023. Hollywood productions that qualify for the tax credit have to submit a work plan outlining their commitment to hiring a diverse cast and crew reflective of California's demographics. The required Hollywood diversity hires include race, ethnicity, gender, and most recently they just added disabled folks to it. Failure to make what they call a good faith effort to meet these requirements will lose 4% of their tax credit allocation. However, the amount is like the amount of like eligible spending they have like for each production, that won't be affected. And the Motion Picture Association has not objected to any of this at all. Now, what's interesting is, and I got this from an excerpt from an article on, this is just talking about like what incentives, like tax incentives like this is a typical thing. A lot of states have them for different things. As with most other types of incentives, film tax credits can provide job creation in the areas of special skills, experience, and training. Special skills include professional photographers, musicians, and writers, etc., etc., whatever other jobs you would have on a film set. So what's my issue with this? Like, why do I think this is stupid? So the concept of diversity hires produces the exact problem it seeks to correct. I think if you have to force diversity, then you're not really getting at the root problem of, my guess would be, bigotry, which we could argue is a hard issue therein, meaning it's on the individual alone, seeing how bigotry is already taboo in Western society, contrary to popular belief. By making quotas based on immutable characteristics, you're going to discriminate against somebody. It's inevitable. Another result is the risk of having someone who is not qualified for a position, as maybe another individual is, which that should always be contrary to any kind of business, especially when you're building a team. If you criticize something like this, many will be quick to assume that you have a problem with diversity and inclusion. That's far from the case. I get it. It's true. There was a time when certain people weren't included based off things they can't change about themselves. But those days are gone for real. And a key factor in this narrative getting momentum is the fact that certain fields are dominated by a majority of a particular group, but there are so many other things that go into that, and just because there's a difference doesn't mean there's inherently a problem. Quite frankly, I feel there's already been diversity quotas in media productions, in front and behind the camera. Like actually Amazon, like you should see, I almost did a video on that a while back. Like if you look at like their things, like for like their production studio, it's the diversity stuff it's insane. The only difference here is there's a financial incentive to, you know, play ball and basically have it influence your hiring decisions. Check this out. While the move might seem like a liberal political agenda, there's nothing wrong with wanting to give a more diverse group of people a chance to tell their stories. An argument can be made for earning a spot due to merit, not race or gender, but this has failed mainly because racism and unconscious bias are deeply rooted in people. So more Hollywood diversity, as seen in The Little Mermaid, isn't a bad thing. Oh, Jesus. Now, look, I'm not against any and everyone working on film productions. Like, and you do need that. Like, you need diversity. But not like this. Not based off things that don't matter when it comes, like, when it comes to the work. That's what should matter. If it were me, I'd keep my dignity and eat that 4%. It's not a huge hit for real, and actually that gives more proof that this may just be another virtue signal from crazy old California. If more people like who, you know, work in the industry, you know, kind of have my same opinion, it could cause a lot of productions to just like get out of Hollywood and just go to like Canada or Georgia or just like Europe or wherever, just to avoid, you know, having a gun to their head and having forced diversity and still save money, you know. What's interesting is the few articles that I looked up about this, you know, they're obviously, they're entertainment, you know, they're most likely California based. And a lot of them seem to think that like the people who are going to be upset about, like, it's not that big a deal, and it's good because, again, if you talk out against it, it looks like you're against diversity and inclusion. Representation and all that stuff is important, but at the end of the day, when it comes to movies, when I'm watching a movie, I want the best people who are for the job working on the movie. When it comes to the actors, same thing. But however, if the race matters then to the story, like, don't just force the diversity just because. Like, even though this is going to like take effect, like, again, this is just in California, this is like through the Hollywood system. I think everything that we've seen these past like 7 years, as far as like television and movies, I think a renaissance is coming. Like, when a society gets to a point where it just starts getting crazy and nuts, the arts, believe it or not, really help get things moving. Artists, people are going to just start rejecting all these things that are kind of just getting momentum. It's definitely going to happen. Let me know what you guys think. Are you for this? You think it's good? Why do you think it's good? Do you think it's bad and just horrendous? Do you kind of feel how I feel about it? Be sure to let me know down in the comments. I'll get at you guys. Until next time, peace out.